The delays caused by the double locking process are wasting energy. This is having a negative impact on the environment through greater fuel usage, which also increases air pollution. To learn more about the impact of lock delays on this towboat's fuel consumption, we visited the engine room and talked with the boat's chief engineer.
I'm Bill Clark from Walnut Ridge, Arkansas, and I am a chief engineer for ARCO and have been for 23 years. We're running EMDs, and up here we try to maintain approximately 5 miles an hour, and we burn from 1,500 to 2,000 gallons a day.
The Ardyce Randall is powered by 2 large diesel engines. We asked Bill how the lock delays affect fuel consumption.
Well, we're burning approximately, say, 80 gallons an hour, and the lock delays, of course, that mounts up to everything as far as getting through the locks, because it takes a lot more time to break your coupling, and you're spending more time in the lock, of course. But that's not the only thing that we're losing on it, for the simple reason we may be following 4 or 5 other boats, and it takes at least 2 to 3 hours to get through those with double locking. So that means that we're sitting on the side of the river waiting until we can get through. Or if it was a drive-through lock, why, there wouldn't be no problem. It's just like driving down the highway. It just takes a short time to drive through the lock and you're out and gone, which that keeps us from having a lot of hold-up time.
In addition to propelling the vessel, these diesel engines are used to generate electricity to operate the boat's lighting, navigation, and communications equipment. Lock delays mean these engines must run longer and burn more fuel.
I spent 17 years on the lower river, which down there it was nothing for us to burn 11, 12,000 a gallon a day down there on fuel. So if this river up here slows it down because of the locks, we're also doing a lot of slowing down on the lower, and they use 3 and 4 times as much fuel down there. So really, when it bottlenecks up here, the lock slows everybody down up here, then you're also talking about your larger boats being slowed down also, and they're the ones that burns a lot of fuel. But it affects us up here greatly. The faster we get through, the faster they get their loads, and on down to the New Orleans, where it's exported overseas.
Good morning, my name is Royce Wilkin. I'm with American River Transportation Company. I'm the president of ARTCO. It's a subsidiary of Archer Daniels Midland Company. This morning we're at Lock 20. This is located in Canton, Missouri. This lock was built in 1936. It is 110 feet wide by 600 feet long. It is one of the lower elevation locks on the Mississippi River system. It is one of the first locks to shut down in high water situations. This lock experiences significant lock delays both in the transiting of the lock as well as the delays caused by that reduced transit. Delays experienced here in the wintertime can exceed 24 hours very commonly. During the regular navigation season without ice, it's not uncommon to wait anywhere from 2 to 10 hours per lock. There could be as many as 5 vessels waiting here at one point in time, as there is today. American Soybean Association, along with various shareholders and stakeholders, are seeking your assistance in being able to help us expand these locks.
The American Soybean Association supports expansion of locks 25, 24, 22, 21, and 20 on the Mississippi River, and the LaGrange and Peoria locks on the Illinois River to 1,200-foot structures. Guide wall extensions are also needed at locks 18, 17, 16, 15, and 14 on the Mississippi River.
You may ask yourself, how is the funding going to happen here at the lock? There's a series of 7 locks, 2 on the Illinois and 5 on the upper Mississippi River, that are seeking approximately $1.2 billion in funding in order to expand 600-foot locks to 1,200-foot locks. 1,200-foot locks. Transportation companies such as American River Transportation Company pay 24.4 cents per gallon for every gallon burned, which goes into a trust fund. That waterway users trust fund has a surplus in excess of $300 million. This project is estimated to take 10 years to completion. At the end of 10 years, that trust fund will exceed $600 million, over half the cost of the project. I can't think of any better investment than to pay back this lock expansion with money that's already in the trust fund set aside to use for lock infrastructure and maintenance in less than 10 years.
In addition to the benefits expanded locks will have for bulk commodity shippers, lock construction will have other significant benefits.
As this project continues on, and if 1,200-foot locks begin construction, it will take approximately 10 years. That 10 years will equate to in excess of 4,000 full-time jobs for 10 years for skilled labor. That impact in the local community supplying not only the labor but also the materials and the skills will have a multiplier effect down through this economy. This economic impact equates to much more than just the initial cost of the $1.2 billion to expand these locks.
Don, would you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your vessel?
My name is Don Riley. The vessel is the Ardyce Randall, a 6,000 horsepower vessel. Runs from St. Louis to Minneapolis and from St. Louis to New Orleans.
What does a trip like that normally take nowadays with the older locks and dams along the river?
It can take as long as 20 days. It just depends on the delay. Sometimes it can even run into a longer trip than that.
And time is money. If these new locks and dams are installed all up and down the river, how much time would be saved by that?
We could cut the time in half.
Tell me a little bit about what impact new locks would have on the safety of your crew.
Oh, it would have a big impact. It would cut the risk of injury down tremendously. There wouldn't be the rigging involved as far as breaking the couplings. The guy would spend less time on tow. There would be less line handling. It would be a lot of safety issues involved. Less time in the elements.
Today, going through with your crew through Lock 20 took almost 3 hours. If that was a 1,200-foot lock there, about how fast would you have been able to get through there?
As quick as 20 minutes.
And I noticed as we were coming and going, you had traffic on both ends of the lock waiting for you to get through. Is that a typical situation?
Very typical, and you can spend as 24, 36 hours waiting on these locks to get through at times.
And how many tows like this will be backed up at some times?
I've seen as many as 8 or 10 on each side.
That's a tremendous backlog of traffic on the river. For the American Soybean Association and Bayer Crop Science, I'm Bob Callanan reporting from the Mississippi River above Lock and Dam number 20.